inequality, solve this inequality. The question is also here solve x squared minus x minus 6 smaller than or equal 0. So the first part is as before, is to factor this and get this, the solution after from factoring. So if you factor this, it would be x. Two numbers, when you multiply them, you get minus 6. When you add them, you get minus 1. 2 and 3. Who's positive, who's negative? The 2 is minus 3, yes, minus 3 and positive 2. Okay, so this is equal to 0 now. Okay, we're trying to get the zeros. The first step is to get the zeros. This is called the zeros. Okay, that's why I'm making this equal. I'm not solving the inequality yet. I'm just a step, which is to get the zeros. The zeros of this expression. What does it mean, the zeros of this expression? The values of x, that will make it 0. Now I'm trying to get the values of x that will make this 0. That's why I'm making it equal to 0. Anyway, we did this before. X minus 3 equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. So that means x equal to 3, or x equal minus 2. So I have two values. One of them is minus 2. I'll just put it here in the veil line. And the second one is 3.
So just start from minus 6 to 1. 6 to 1 is 1.
See, the two numbers, when you multiply them, you get minus 6, right? But when you add them, you should get minus 1. Now, minus 3 added to 2 give you minus 1. This is the 1. That's why this is the right answer. Okay, if you take 6 and 1, when you add them, you will not get minus 1. You get 5 minus 5 like this. Okay? So I got the zeros, the first step, and I write them here. I just make a mark that this is a 0 and this is a 0. Just a mark. So minus 2 is a 0 and 3 is a 0. The second part here is, now when x is 3, the expression that I have, what expression? This one. I'm talking about this one. This expression here is 0. When x is 3, this expression is 0. When x is minus 2, this expression is also 0. But this expression between minus 2 and 3 will be positive or negative? So far I don't know. I need to test. Because if it is negative, I will take it. Because I want it to be negative. I want it to be smaller than 0. Smaller than 0 already means negative.
0 or smaller.
Yeah, exactly. The 0, 0 or smaller. So I also take the zeros. So this is already part of the answer. But I don't know what is the other part of the answer. Between them or before them or after them. I want to know. So I have to make a test point. To find out when is this expression negative. So let's make test points. Okay, so that's what I'm planning to do, is to make a test point here. Test point, suppose any value smaller than minus 2, maybe minus 3. And take this x equal to minus 3 and put it here and here. If you put it here, what will happen? This will be minus 3 multiplied by what? Minus 3 plus 2. I'm just substituting in the expression. Now this expression is also the same thing, right? This expression is also that one. Okay? So this is equal what now? Positive or negative? Let's find out. This is minus 6 and this is added, by the way, not multiplied. And this is minus 1, right? Minus 1. So minus 6 times minus 1 equal what?
Positive.
Equals 6, which is positive or negative? This is now becoming positive. So if this is positive, then we write big plus here. Okay? And then again we have to repeat this step in the other version. Here, we should repeat this here. So the test this time will be, I choose a value between minus 2 and 3. I'll choose a value 0 because it's between minus 2 and 3. And I'm going to put this also here. I'm going to put this 0, here 0, and here 0. So if this is 0, this is 0, it will be minus 3 times 2. Minus 3 times 2 equal what? Equal minus 6. That means equal minus 6. So you're going to get here minus 6, which is negative. So that's, you put a big minus here. Okay, similarly, you're going to do the test here. And if you do that, I'll leave this for you to try. It will be a big plus here. Okay, Yes.
مساوي 3 في كل حالات.
Well, if you do the test here, you find it positive. Yes, usually it will be negative next and positive next. But what if you made a mistake here? It's good to check. It's good to check so that if you made a mistake here, you will discover it here. So yeah, usually yes, plus minus plus or minus plus minus. But there is an exception for this. Exception is that if these factors are repeating, see these factors here? Is x minus 3. If you see another x minus 3, and you have x minus 3 square, then this is not the case. If you see x plus 2 square, this is not the case. If you see any one of these values, you know the zeros repeated because you have a power 2 because it's repeated factor, then this will not be the case. But if you don't have repeated factor, then yes, we have plus minus plus or minus plus. They will keep changing. Yeah. Okay. So that's also a small trick here. Once you do this, now you ask yourself, you want this to be negative. Where is the negative now? Here or here or here? Between them, right? The negative between them. So you need the negative. That's why you say, okay, well, this is the answer then. This part is the answer. All this part is the answer. You should shade it. We need this answer. Why? Because we need the negative. Why we need the negative? Because that's what the questions say. The questions say, I want the expression to be smaller than 0. If the questions say bigger than or equal to 0, then you will take the positive region, which will be this shaded and this shaded. But the question says smaller than 0, so you need the negative, so you shade this. Clear now? How do you find the answer? Any question about that? So I found the answer now, but it is shaded. I can also write it as inequality. Okay, so if you write the inequality, it means x now, the solution is between minus 2 and 3. This is the solution as inequality. And also, if you want to write it as interval notation, you can also write this from minus 2 to 3 with a bracket.
Don't write this?
Yes. It depends on the question. If the question tells you, write the answer in interval notation, then you have to write it in interval notation. This is interval notation. Okay? If the question asks you to write the answer in any form, خلاص, it's enough to graph or enough to write inequality.
So we can use any numbers, right? Like you use minus 3.
Yeah, the test can be any numbers here. Yeah, but it has to be this test in this region smaller than minus 2. And the test here between minus 2 and 3. And here you can use, for example, 1 or 2 or minus 1. Okay? Here you can use 4, 5, 6. Okay?
What if there's undefined?
Yeah, the undefined doesn't come in quadratic equation inequalities. It comes in rational inequalities. Here only, you don't have, because you only have zeros, you don't have, undefined values or poles basically. So that's why the only thing here you have to be careful about is, do we have here equal or not? If you have equal here, then the 0 is part of the answer, and if the 0 is part of the answer, then this 0 required, this 0 is also required to be part of the answer, and that's why in this case you have to have a bracket here. That's why in the graph you should have really a bracket here and a bracket here, which is also the bracket here, because all the equal here, that's important. But in the beginning, if there is no equal, if this is just without equal, then this will be here just a parenthesis. Yes, then this will be here. The answer will be this will be a parenthesis, and this will be a parenthesis. Okay, and also this will be a parenthesis here and here.